Hello, we're going to make a video, and before we dive into this video, uh, we're going to explain one or two things. We're going to review what Anaconda is, because this video will be about Anaconda and environments within Anaconda. And Anaconda is a Python package distribution system. Python can be very, very complicated to keep in sync in terms of package compatibility. Hence, Anaconda was created to help keep administrators and users sane. When you start using Anaconda, you will typically connect into a base environment, a base Anaconda environment. It is not unusual that the base Anaconda environment will not have all the packages that you may wish to use. It is often the case that the package combination that is desired is not able to be loaded into the base Anaconda environment. The answer to this problem is virtual Anaconda environments. Users can create their own virtual Anaconda environments that will specifically suit their needs. This video will review a few details regarding this topic. This video will demonstrate the following: connecting to a base Anaconda 3 environment, a quick examination of the Anaconda 3 base environment that you will connect to, how to create a new tailored Anaconda 3 virtual environment, how to activate your new virtual environment, a quick examination of your new virtual environment, how to add a new package to your new virtual environment, how to deactivate your new virtual environment, and how to remove a virtual environment. Okay? And if you need to contact me regarding this, here's my contact information down here at the bottom. Okay, so let's get started. I've connected with the ECE X2Go. It's put me into you've waited too long mode, and you need to log back in, or connect back in, I should say. That's a screensaver type of thing. And let me give that another shot here. There we go. Okay, so first thing we need to do, connect it in here with ECE X2Go to a particular machine. And I'm going to come down here to System Tools, and I'm going to choose this terminal. I like this GNOME terminal, so that's the one I normally use. And I'm going to come up here to View, and I'm going to zoom in a few times, make it bigger, easier to see. Okay. So now the first thing we need to do is we need to connect to the base environment. And the way that we do that is, easiest way to do that is the ECE Teaching Lab has a website with some documentation. So if you go to eceteachinglabs.cc.lehigh.edu and then come into the tab that says Documentation, and then come down here to Anaconda 3, and then click on Setup to run Anaconda platform. There's some videos down here that tell you how to proceed, but we're just going to go ahead, and I'm assuming that you probably watched those videos already, but we're just going to go ahead and copy this script here. And then we're going to paste it into our current shell environment, our current bash. And then we'll hit Enter. And what this will do is this will put you into the base Anaconda environment that exists by default on this particular machine. So, and you can tell you're in the base environment because you see the word base here. And once you're in this environment, if you want to see what packages are installed, you can type conda list, and it will list all the packages. You can take a look at what conda version you're running, and you can also take a look at what version of Python you're running. So we're running version 3.7.4. Okay, so oftentimes you need to create a new environment because the environment that you're in doesn't have everything that you're looking for. And a way that you can tell what environments you currently have to use at the moment, you can type conda env list, and this will tell you all the environments that you have available to you. Okay, right now only the base environment is available, and you'll see that little asterisk on that line. That little asterisk says that's the environment that's currently active. That's the environment you're in, that's the environment that's running. Okay, so let's create a new conda environment that would have some specific packages that we're looking to use. So to create that new environment, we would type conda create -n for the n is for the name of the new environment. I'm just going to call this NEWENV for new environment. Not a very original or good name, maybe. You may want to have a better name for your environments, but I'm going to use that. I'm going to install 3 packages. I'm going to install Jupyter, something called matplotlib, and something called numpy. Okay, I'll go ahead and hit enter, and let's see if we can get these installed. And it can take a minute for this whole install process to happen. And we'll watch it figure out what it can install. So here it found all the packages, and it says, do you want me to go ahead and install it? I'm going to click yes. And it's flipping through installing these packages. Now you'll notice the way I typed that command, and I'll point something out here. I'm taking the latest default Python that Anaconda can provide. Because I did not specify what Python version to put in the new virtual environment, it just goes out and puts the latest one in, the latest Python version in. So you can see here how we can activate the new environment and leave the new environment. We'll look at that in a second. Let's take a look at that command I just ran. If I wanted to have a different version of Python, what I can do is say I wanted to put in Python 3.6. I would type Python equals 3.6, and then it would install the Python 3.6, and then it would go out and get the various packages that would be compatible with Python 3.6, and that would not be the packages that it just installed, most likely. Okay. Oops. Let's see if I can get out of that. Okay, so now let's see what environments that we have available. If you remember, we typed conda environment list. Okay, so now we have 2 environments. We have the environment that was just created and called new ENV, and then we have the base environment. Well, in order to use the new ENV environment, what we're going to do is we're going to activate that environment. And so what we would do is we would use the conda activate command. So the way we would do that is we would type conda activate new ENV. Okay, now you can tell we're in the new ENV environment because over here on the left hand side it has new ENV. And here we can type conda list, and it will list all of the packages that are currently in this new ENV environment. So what we could do is we could type conda. You can kind of tell this by looking at the list right here on the screen, but I'm just doing this for example. I could type conda list grep TensorFlow, and what this will do is this will list all the packages, and then it will pipe to another command called grep and TensorFlow. And what it will do is it will look for the characters TensorFlow to see if TensorFlow is one of the installed packages. And it comes up empty, so that tells me that TensorFlow isn't currently in this new environment. So I can type conda, and I think I have this right, install TensorFlow. And it will go out and look. Okay, so it's going to install TensorFlow, and it's also going to install all these other packages that TensorFlow is dependent on. So I'm going to go ahead and click yes. So after you create your own virtual environment, you can even further tailor it by installing more packages into your own virtual environment. In our case, you can't install packages into the base environment. You'd have to have the system administrator try that, and I'll probably ask you to try and create a virtual environment. Okay, so now if I type conda list, there will be more packages, and if I type conda list grep TensorFlow, you'll see that TensorFlow is now installed. Okay, and then you can go ahead and run your Python inside of this base environment. Now, to log out of the virtual environment that you're in, if you type conda deactivate, that will take you out of that virtual environment, new environment, and bring you back up to the base environment. If you type conda deactivate again, well, actually, let's do this before we. So you want to keep that new environment around as long as you're working on your project. You don't want to delete the virtual environment once you've created it and you've tailored it to what you need. But someday you may be done with your project and you may want to kind of clean things up. So you may want to remove that virtual environment. So if we say conda environment list, we can see all of our virtual environments that we have. And you may say, I don't need that new environment anymore. So I'm going to type Conda environment remove. And we're going to give it the name of the environment we want to remove. And then we'll hit enter. Okay. And now if we do Conda environment list, you'll see that new environment has been removed from the list of environments that you have access to. And then if we want to leave the base environment, we can just type Conda deactivate. And now we're back just to our regular shell prompt. So that's a little bit of information about environments, how to use them, create them, get into them, examine them, add a package. And I hope this was helpful, and thanks for listening.